well, certain people definitely don't have a lot of empathy for Smogonites. Now, that's absolutely no news at all, but still, it's pretty impressive just how much vitriol is going towards that community. And, well, I would say, well, at least part of it is a bit uncalled for. Maybe it's just because, we like to exaggerate, when they do get stuff wrong, but it's just the fact that last time when the subject of Pokemon Ami giving random hacks came up, there just wasn't a whole lot of sympathy for them because of, the fact that luck would suddenly be a lot more prominent in Pokemon. And I'll be honest here, I can relate to the complaints that they might have, because the thing is that, and I don't know if you guys have experienced it, maybe not, depending on how many games you play against human players. We all know, of course, it's no fun losing because of random hacks. But what some people tend to overlook is that many people, including myself, also hate winning because of random hacks. It's just no fun because you haven't proved that you're superior to your opponent. And I thought this was going to be a double battle, but I guess not. Anyway, if I remember, there was probably a double battle on this very spot in the first game. Anyway, this guy is going to give me a nugget, and this boy is going to give me another one. I think, no, it's a big nugget! So, giving those to the Maniac and Icirus is going to, of course, give you huge wads of cash. Only problem, Icirus is a post-game area in this game, so it's gonna have to wait a little while longer. And man, when I said that they toned down the random encounter rate, I didn't think it was by that much, because it's been a while since we ran into anything. But hey, once again, you're not going to hear any complaints from me. Find Shining Ores. This name rings a bell. Alright! This is the FunFest mission that can give you shards and also evolutionary stones. So, if you want to get shards easily, you have to come here, talk to that NPC, and get the FunFest mission. And, of course, as I said before, it also gives you some evolutionary stones. Which ones depend on the version, though, because this one here in White 2 is called Find the Shining Ores, but in Black 2 there's another one which is exclusive to Black 2, which is called, I don't really remember the name, but you get other kinds of evolutionary stones. And which shards are common and more rare also vary depending on which one of these two missions you have, ergo which version of the game you have. So anyway, enough about that. Though I think it's very important that I point that out because, well, it's by far the easiest way of farming for shards in order to pay the move tutors if you want to use them a lot. But anyway, enough about that. Back to what I was talking about. It's no fun to win because of random hacks. It leaves you with a bittersweet taste in your mouth, and, well, how can I say it in any other way? It's just no fun. And, my stance on luck in Pokemon has always been, it's okay, it's part of the game, we have to deal with it. It's not like every single game is decided by a hack, so, it's fine the way it is. But the way Pokemon Ami works, if it gives you all of these added effects, it might throw a wrench into things and make the level of luck go far past the tolerable denomination. So, as a result, I can't say I'm terribly fond of that, unless, of course, it's an in-game thing, but somehow I doubt it. I think it's probably going to work both in-game and against human players, which is going to suck, admittedly. Though, to be fair, we don't know the rates at which these special effects appear. it's probably not going to be the equivalent of having shed skin, a focus band, a scope lens, and a bright powder all at the same time. It's probably going to be a good bit lower than that. But at the same time, I guess they have to provide an incentive to use Pokemon Me because, well, without such an incentive, who would ever use it? Like, seriously. Are you kidding me? There's nothing worse than seeing a Pokemon with Sturdy reactivated because of rest. That is just so frustrating. I mean, competitively, it's a whole kind. It's different dynamics, I guess. But when it happens in game, it's because you're going to crush that wild Pokemon anyway. So that's just stalling for time at this point, which is a lot more annoying. So I guess this is why I'm not so fond of the idea of Pokemon Me giving you all these added effects, and why I can totally relate with the Smogonites and other people who play competitively, because it's just, no. More luck is definitely not something that we need. If it was something more along the lines of a buff to certain stats, like that can range between, say, 0 and 10%, that would have the potential to be pretty interesting, but well, at least for in-game purposes, because the boosts would likely cancel each other out competitively since everyone would have them. But the way they're going at it with this is just, no, I can't help but give it a thumbs down. Also, something else that I have seen quite a bit all over the internet and I disagree with is the notion that Mega Evolutions are bad because they prevent certain Pokemon, such as Mawile or Absol, that could benefit from actual evolutions. It prevents them from ever getting regular evolution. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to talk to that guy again. But, personally, I don't understand why that would be the case. Because the fact that a Pokemon evolves into a certain Pokemon won't stop it from being able to evolve into another Pokemon later on, in a later generation, I mean. And I'm talking about split evolutions here. I'm not talking about something like the Porygon line, where it evolved into Porygon 2 in Gen 2, and then into Porygon Z in Gen 4. I'm talking about split evolutions like the Evolutions, Vileplume and Bellossom, that kind of stuff. That has never been prevented by, an Excadrill. I don't think an Ember is going to be quite enough to take one of these things down, so I'm just gonna go with Lilligant and try to pummel it with some grass moves. But, yeah, the fact that Gloom evolved into Vileplume never stopped it from also being able to evolve into Bellossom later on. So I don't see why, Mega Evolutions wouldn't be the same thing. Heck, the fact that it's called Mega Evolution is kind of a misnomer to begin with, as I said. It's a lot more like a form change of some sort. So I really wouldn't rule out the possibility of maybe someday Mawile actually evolving, and maybe that evolution getting a Mega Evolution of its own. Potentially, of course, not saying that it will happen or that it even could happen, but it's something that is not entirely impossible. So, yeah, this is something that I just plain don't understand. And while I'm on the subject of old Pokemon being given new evolutions, I am sort of annoyed by the fact that other than Sylveon, which is a split evolution to start with, we haven't seen anything among those lines. So this begs the question at this point, because we're only a month and a half away from release, even less than that, and we still haven't seen anything in that department aside from Sylveon. So is Sylveon all that we're going to get? Personally, I think it's going to become a heck of a lot more likely if the next Korokoro doesn't give us anything when it comes to evolving old Pokemon. Like, are Mega Evolutions all we're going to get this time around? Well, not that I'm really complaining, because Mega Evolutions will definitely help Pokemon like Mawile and Kangaskhan that really needed the hand. But at the same time, I don't know, but the fact that so many people dismiss Mega Evolutions as being just a stupid gimmick that's going to be utterly ineffective at what it's trying to do, sorry, but I just simply cannot agree with that statement. It's like, you know, people are asking, why don't they just give Mawile an actual evolution of just giving it a Mega Evolution? And, well, we don't know the stats Mega Mawile is going to have, and I'm using Mawile as sort of an example here. There are many more Pokemon that will definitely fall under that same category. But, you know, there are so many ways that you could use to improve a certain Pokemon, and as long as it tries doing a decent job of it, I can't really go against that. I mean, Gen 2, well, I wouldn't single out anything in Gen 2 because there was a huge balancing act going on in Gen 2 with the introduction of 2 new types, the revamps to the type charts, adding new moves, new Pokemon, all that kind of stuff. It's impossible to single anything out, but, you know, in Gen 3, we had the introduction of abilities. In Gen 4, we had the physical special split. In Gen 5, we had the Dream World abilities. And in Gen 6, it's very likely that we're going to have Mega Evolutions. So my question is, what makes Mega Evolution so much less acceptable, I would say, for lack of a better word, than giving new abilities or outright evolving the Pokemon the regular old-fashioned way? Why is this so much less legitimate than these methods? I don't understand that. Maybe it's because I'm just too logical and I don't have enough of a knee-jerk reaction to things. Like I see something new and it's instantly do not want. But personally, I don't see a problem with that, because if Mawile moves on to shoot up the tier list because of that, and it could happen because of the sheer fact that, well, not only is it getting its type retcon, gaining a valuable secondary stab, which will undoubtedly be a lot better than Steel, but it's also going to get huge power. And the only price you'll have to pay will be the held item slot. So it's likely that Mawile is suddenly going to be a heck of a lot better than it used to be. It's probably going to get some stat boost as well. But yeah, if it becomes a lot better as a result of getting that Mega Evolution, then why not? It's not like there's only one way to get it out of the gutter, and that's to give it a traditional evolution. And in fact, Mega Evolutions may even have a bit of a strategic element to them because of the held item slot opportunity cost, and there's also the fact that you can use only one in your party. Now, we know that only a limited amount of Pokemon will be getting Mega Evolutions from the get-go, but in future generations where there may be a lot more than that, it may become a bit more of a tough decision to make, depending, of course, on how useful each Mega Evolution ends up being. So yeah, I think this is mostly knee-jerk reactions, and Mega Evolutions are going to become a household mechanic in generations to come. And I think I done goofed, because I did not intend on going into another trainer battle this video, and so this means that for one of the rare times, I'm probably going to have to end a video in the middle of a battle. And yes, that's probably going to be the case, because, well, Onyx versus Volcarona, terrible idea, so I'm going to have to waste some time switching to Lilligant. So, I'm sorry, I know it's not that big a deal, especially since, you know, it's just some random trainer with weak Pokemon. Onyx knows Dragon Breath? Wow, never remembered that. But, yeah, I apologize for that, but I think I'm going to have to call it a day mid-battle for once. And I'll see you next time when I hopefully complete the remainder of Chargestone Cave.